I can't believe I'm actually talking to you.
I think you and myself are on the same boat with this. I'm like, man. Man.
Well,
I tell you,
it's our pleasure too, guys.
It is.
It's our pleasure too. It's lovely to have Alpa as kind of like the binding. Yeah.
Right, here we go. I think we will be
It's now streaming on LiveTube, it says on here.
Hello.
Hello, YouTube.
Oh, that prayer doesn't work when we try and do it this way. The prayer doesn't work. It was working before. Oh, we're okay. We're live. There we go. Oh, there's the people coming on board.
Hello, people.
That's hers.
Tap in there.
Oh, yes, we have quite a lot of people. Okay, great. We are live. Colleen, Charlie, Mark, Jason, we made it. We wanted to start off with the prayer, but it's not letting me do this on live. It was letting me do it on Zoom.
Yeah,
so.
YouTube has an anti-prayer policy, so you should check that first.
So maybe I just want to say one then, if you all say one with me. Just a very quick one. This is a very high protection prayer. So just very quickly, Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityur Mukshi Yamamrita. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. There we go.
Awesome. Beautiful.
I felt that.
Did you?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
We did too.
Whoa.
We did too.
Well, by the way, 15 minutes in, my camera wasn't working, my Zoom kept freezing, my phone kept freezing. So everyone that's listening, I've just made it. And, you know, we've had divine intervention. What an amazingly crazy few days it has been, hasn't it? How are you, Mark? Welcome.
Hello. Good to see you.
Jason.
Hello.
Good, good. And Charlene and Colleen, what's this? What's this I've heard about Facebook? Have they have they taken you off Facebook?
Yeah, I've been down. I've only been active on Facebook 2.5 days out of the last 120. So pretty much they took me down anyways. But yeah, today the last vestige. So all we have is MEWE and our Parlor channel that Tony is busily putting up. She's such an angel, Tony Wheel.
Parlor's taken down.
Oh, sorry, not Parlor, Rumble. So MEWE, Rumble, and then we have Buy Me a Coffee site, which is great because it allows us to post the content as well. That's it.
And we're on Gab as well, gab.com.
I think Mark's
So,
the only one who's been well
yeah.
behaved, really. Haven't you, Mark?
Me?
Yeah, you've been.
That's because, you know, I think all this conspiracy stuff's a load of rubbish, so I don't put anything up like that. Just gotta stay safe, that's my motto.
Stay home and stay safe. And Jason, you've been all right. You've been wiped out a few times, haven't you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm banned off Twitter now. That Facebook, I'm treading water in Facebook right now. I'm just trying to stay afloat right there, and so we'll see. I mean, we got plenty of 30 and 60 day little steps on the wrist there, so
Yeah. Well, look.
nothing like freedom.
Keeping the high vibration. I think there's a lot of deflated people today, and there's a sentiment that I get, and that's not what today's about. We want to, you know, raise our vibration, encourage people to, you know, stay centered, stay in faith. And I know everyone's sick and tired of hearing all of this, but 3 things: trust the plan. Nothing really can stop what's coming, and they have it all. And all this stuff that's going on in the interim, how it's going to unfold, that's what we've been deciphering all along. We may get it right, we may get it a little bit wrong. It's having the twists and turns. Listen, let's not get so precious and, you know, hung up on stuff. We need to sort of go focus inside a lot more. And what I love about Mark is that his sense of humor is always on point. Yeah, I know, I'm just speaking on you, Mark, sorry. Have you seen the amazing poetry Mark's done? I mean, like, I think I'm your #1 fan. We're going to play it later on because we went very successful in doing the prayer. I'm so sorry, Colleen. It was a beautiful prayer, and I'm going to get people to put it up on Facebook. It just doesn't work. But yeah, I think, keeping our spirits up at this time, we're, the darkest before dawn. We know that saying. Yeah, it's the darkest before dawn. And we are tested. We're really tested during these times. And there's so much stuff that's going on over the last few days. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Charlie. And I think loads of people are waiting to hear from you today.
Yeah, for us, we I opened up the day on Facebook with a post that was essentially the write-up for the show here. And for us, from our end, I define the show as mankind's defining moment. That's what this is all about in our opinion. This is that moment in time. And whether it is 10 days, 11 days, 1 hour, 20 minutes, whatever it is, it's this collective moment. And really we have a choice in this moment. It's either where we go one, we go all, or divided, scattered, and leaderless. You choose. You choose. You have so many strong warriors who are on the right side of this come forth and have done their best to show you the way. And ultimately, what we've tried to share all along, and it's so obvious, December 21st made that abundantly clear to even the dimmest light, that this is God's plan, and that this is his heavenly design. And that as I've tried to share again and again, never in the history of ever has anyone or anything that is righteous and has stood up for itself, you've never been defeated, not once. There's not one incidence of righteousness defending itself ever losing. It's just too often we've rolled over, we've been kowtowed, and we have capitulated. No longer. So again, this show, I'm sure it will play itself out so beautifully, but this is that moment for each and every one of you, is to stand tall and to be brave in the face of potential disaster for all, or to give in and capitulate and to roll over and let somebody else rule over you. Remember, God is the God of the living, not of the dead. So there is no respect for he who rolls over and dies. Never die. Remember, there's that iconic scene in Clint Eastwood's Josie Wales. And, he's got the settlers in their home and they're being surrounded and they're outnumbered. And he says, now, remember, when things start to get dark and it looks like you're not going to make it, that's when you have to get tough. That's when you have to look deep down inside of yourself, and then you have to get plumb mad dog mean, and you have to fight like there's no tomorrow. That's this moment. There's no more time to research Jason Q's brilliant work. There's no more time to decode 107 or anything to do with the Q plan. That's gone. That's past. Everything has played its role. Everything is done. You're now on the doorstep of either a brand new reality, which will be righteous beyond description, or falling into a vacuum of despair that potentially there's no getting out of. So it's in this moment that we define ourselves. And I'll just complete my thoughts for the moment here with this. 107 saying what he said yesterday or 2 days ago, time is irrelevant now, but whenever he just said what he said, all that occurred is that we've all been brought to the brink. So we've been a meter or less away from the precipice. He just pushed us over. And you ask yourself, why would 107 do that to us? Why would he push us over the precipice? Out of love. I guarantee you, out of love.
Tough love.
we have to tough love. We are now clinging with our fingernails to whatever we can find, whatever root or whatever tree branch we can find. And then we have to dig ourselves back up out of this. And when you do, we will stand together. And I promise you, Colleen and I have said all along, we're not going anywhere. We're not going to leave. We will stay here and we'll continue to play whatever role we need to play to help others. Because moving forward, how we make sure none of this ever happens again is we become mankind once more. Not man evil, not man complacent, not man self-centered, not man selfish, mankind, which is the original intent of God's creation. So with that, let me pass it over to our brilliant partners today, and let's hear.
Yeah, Jason, what are your thoughts here?
Today or this week in general?
Yeah, just in general, sweetie.
Yeah.
Everything's happening. You know, everybody that was saying that nothing's happening, well, look to the skies. That's all you have to do. Look to the skies. Everything's coming down. So, you know, all you can do is just, you know, just be ready and just be ready for forgiveness, because that's going to be one of the biggest keys in all of this. You know, you have to learn to forgive in order to move up. You know, you have to pretty much clear your own karma. You know, we're gonna have to forgive everyone in this, because we're not the ones that will be judging them. You know, it'll be God. God has to. He's the one that judges. You know, we're just here to do His work. We're here to do our job that we were sent here to do, and just gonna get this done.
That's lovely. That really is lovely. And Jason, you've been remarkable in this journey. You know, the extensive work that you've put in, and what you've just said is just surmises it so beautifully, because ultimately it goes back to God, and that is it. You know, when we simplify things, yeah, we don't overcomplicate it. Yes, we have gnosis, we learn, and in this journey, that's what we've been doing. You know, we've been leaning on each other for support, for guidance, for gnosis. Someone knows something, someone doesn't. And Jason, you've been pivotal. The information that you've deciphered, discerned, and shared with us has been brilliant. You have a brilliant mind, and it's been really, really helpful on various subjects. And then there's Charlie and Colleen, who, you know, are doing their bit, and they've been huge, 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 huge. And essentially, when we break it down, it's very simple. Like I said at the start, you have to trust the plan. This all has been done. This has been done in real time. It's just playing out. It's the movie. So people that are faltering at this point, that just ask yourself that, do you trust yourself? Because everything, if you've been posting, and a lot of people who've messaged me and said, do you know what, this is just nonsense, and I don't trust the plan, and not necessarily don't trust the plan, but what is all of this about, all these shows, this, that, the other, and it's just crap, and fake opium, and all of this rubbish, and, you know, ultimately we don't know anything. We're going into lower vibration. That's not going to be great for us. It's not good for our soul. And it is going to be tough. People are messaging me obnoxious messages saying, right, Biden looks like he's coming in. Trump's going to be impeached. Learn how to answer them back. Yeah. Just say, who is telling you? Simple. Who's telling you this? Who? Who is telling you this? He's going to get impeached the first time round. Did it happen? No. So let's just be brave now. This is Charlie, you put that really well. And Mark, over to you, because, you know, this has been a week where I'm like, right, this is really happening now. And this is where we really show our strength and courage. And all those posts that we've been putting in, Johnny and Colleen, they got booted off YouTube. Yeah. Got booted off now on Facebook. Yeah. Staying stable in the face of adversity, standing tall in the face of adversity. And this is where we are. And if whatever anyone wants to think or choose to believe, hey, listen, no one's forcing you to watch myself. No one's forcing you to watch Colleen and Charlie and Mark or Jason, if it is affecting you. But there is some beautiful gnosis that, you know, we get out of this. So Mark's just been brilliant as well with the poetry. It's just lifted people's soul, Mark. So thank you. And so many people have written to me personally as well, saying that was brilliant.
Mm-hmm. Well, God gave me a great gift for this time, and it's here. Oh, there it is. Come on, Alpa, this is funny. You're not looking. It's a visual joke. You're supposed to look.
Pay attention.
I mean, you know, I've got the tingle, right? And the tingle's just got louder and louder and louder and louder. And, you know, I was studying all this stuff 30 years ago. When I was working in the RAF, I knew something was wrong back then. And it just feels like the last, since Christmas, or since the 21st, I think, I've been having this life review where random memories are popping up. And then I'm getting told, do you understand why that happened now? And I'm going, oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I'm having this amazing process. And then, and all the poems, they're not me. They're coming through. And it's such a privilege that they do. And it's amazing that, I mean, I've had emails from people saying I've saved their life. And it's like, what? That's incredible, right?
That's so nice.
And it isn't false hope, because another word for trust the plan is faith. And, you know, my personal relationship with God was very strong when I was young. And my father got taken from me when I was 17, and I had to turn his life support machine off. And after that, I stood outside the Chapel of Rest with a bottle of whiskey in one pocket, and I looked up at the sky and I shouted, I hate you. And I spent the next 20 years in a state of agnostic sort of indifference, and I you know, and I did things I shouldn't have done looking back on them, and I did things I regret, and I got addicted to alcohol, and you know, I did all sorts of things, right? But he gave me a second chance, and you know, a couple of years ago, I nearly drew the curtain on my own life, but then something pulled me out of bed that day, and everything since then has been leading to this. Well, my whole life's been leading to this, and I think a lot of people are feeling that their whole life is leading to this moment that we are in right now. And it is the most extraordinary privilege to be here and to witness this moment. I was going to say I can't put it into words, which is not very good for a poet, right? But I'm actually writing a new poem that I'm hoping to finish tomorrow, which is called From Dark to Light, which is, you know, and I just have complete trust, because my own personal experience of God is more real than this is. And I trust it completely. And everything that's going on, Biden's going to be inaugurated, this, that, and the other, and everybody's scrambling around, my truth's better than your truth, and all this nonsense. It's just noise to me now. And I feel like I'm just sat in the middle of it. There was a meme a couple of years ago, which was Jesus going through a storm on a boat. He was just stood on the storm and he was completely zen. And there's all this noise and thunder and things thrown at him, and he just sailed through it. And I just remember that. It really struck a chord with me. And I'm not saying that, you know, I'm perfect. I'm just an idiot in a kitchen that writes a few poems. But it's so beautiful if you allow that energy to come in and listen to it and take the time to listen to it. And that cannot happen if you've got the TV on, or if you're reading the papers, even if you go on YouTube in a lot of instances. You know, there's a lot of that whole frequency of fear. I'm done, you know, and I don't care. You know, if I said last year, you know, if Joe Biden won or Hillary Clinton won, I'd rather be dead than live in that world. And that was the point of that's when I started doing the YouTube stuff, because I was like, well,
anyway,
you know, I'd rather be dead than so I might as well just tell everybody what I think. And it's just been an extraordinary journey and a real privilege to be on it. And I can't believe I'm in the company of such amazing people to have this conversation. And this wasn't for my ass, it was for my eyes. I'm probably tearing up. I'm welling up now. And I'm very emotional. I feel very, very emotional at the moment. And it's all about love.
Absolutely.
It's all about that frequency, that incredible frequency of creation that is just so divine. I mean, what a word, you know. So, you know, I think while we're all chatting, I just want to put myself forward for the job of helping Charlie write the new dictionary, because we've got to go write all these new words. We've got to rewrite the whole thing.
I knew we'd lift the spirits up, Mark, for this show, definitely. Isn't he nice? All my
Yeah, no, we absolutely do. We absolutely do, Mark, because in 100 years with all that money, they've done a lot of things that probably very few of us could possibly even imagine. There's an entire another reality. You know, when people talk about what's under the ground, too often they limit it to this gnosis of deep underground military bases and then maybe just some causeways in between. What you need to eventually get your minds to is this reality where they're rats, they're sewer rats, and they're always suspicious of being caught or observed because they're liars, because they're cheats. And so they hide underground, and what's underground will blow you away. It is far greater than you could possibly imagine. It is an entirely another world. And then they pop the periscope up once in a while to Venice, and then they send their minions to Rome, and they rule out through these 3 cities. And by the way, everyone, Jason obviously can speak to this a lot today too, but you know, we shared this a long time ago. Obviously, where this is playing out, first and foremost, it has to be in the United States, Washington, D.C. Look what's happening in Rome right now. And for you folks in London, buckle in, secure, because you're the third piece to this puzzle, this first puzzle that has to play itself out. I did a post about Helm's Deep and the battle for Helm's Deep. And 107 has said some incredible things, and they come straight from the Lord of the Rings, straight from Tolkien. I swear, Lewis and Tolkien were 17ers. They were Qers. The Q plan has been around for a long time, and the things that we've been learning, this year, the last few years about the Q team, the Q plan, is just stirred up so much stuff from both Lewis and Tolkien. It's incredible. So I don't think that that's too far out there to suggest that they were privy to some things. And you know, this is the thing why Trump was in Texas the other day, and the flags had no yellow fringe on them. There's no maritime admiralty law there. It's the Lone Star State. So it's God's laws of the land, and we're done with this specious creation of pouring in the tormentous seas upon the land and then living this false illusion life. That's over. So moving the capital, that's reality. Wherever it's going is up to you to, put your 2 cents in, but it's not, 107 has made that abundantly clear. You have to flush it and flush it and flush it. And then, so all of a sudden you see that this is Saruman, and this is Isengard, and this is Helm's Deep. It totally is. And that's the first phase. So if you're thinking that when this is done, it's all over, it isn't, because that's just the first of the battles that have to occur. Gandalf said it so clearly that if we don't win here, we're through. And Sauron's victory, the One Ring, will envelop this earth, and there will be nothing that we can do in the foreseeable future. But if we win here, then we take our game elsewhere. And the elsewhere is everywhere, because where we go one, we go all. But these 3 cities have to go down first. London's next. And it absolutely has to be that way. So guys, jump back in.
Yeah, no.
And how interesting that Saturn has the One Ring. And that's what they have, their worship, Saturn. So go ahead.
No, all I was just saying is that you've got, the city of London, which is under great scrutiny now. Then you've got Rome, and then you've got Washington, D.C. You've got that pyramid, essentially, right?
3 legs of the stool. 3 legs of the stool. Yeah.
Well, the main ones, because this is the sort of start, and this is the first, start to all of this. So it's, the tensions are all rising right now, and the next few weeks are going to be critical for us to keep strong, because it's going to get bad for a lot. The truth is, we're going to get it from every corner. I mean, with the thought of Biden being sworn in, that's just causing everyone, to go crazy. Is that such a bad thing at the moment? Because ultimately, Trump will be doing 4 more years. Just imagine what he's gone through in these 4 years, and we've had a week since the 6th. Yeah. So since the 6th, this thing started, everyone was like really happy with the rally and what in Washington. And now, you know, a lot's happened from the 6th. And if we can't handle it, it's just testing our resolve on everything. And then I sat there today thinking about, imagine what Trump must be feeling and what he went through. And of course, you know, I mean, he's got all the tools and everything to cope, but we can't give up now. No, we can't give up now.
Well, Donald Trump has one major advantage over the rest of us. He knows exactly what's going on.
Good point, Mark. Jason, I'll hand it over to you.
Well, there's a lot that's going on. A lot of people just have to understand that President Trump is really, really, really key in this. He is, he's bigger than you can imagine, bigger than anyone can imagine. There's a reason why everybody loves him, and there's a reason why there's so many that hates him. I mean, he has a lot more power than just being the president of the United States. So a lot of people should just really just stop this whole just facade of, you know, jumping on Biden's back, and just understand that, you know, when we were sitting here backing President Trump and we were being called names, we were being called racist, we were being called xenophobes, just because that's what they coined him. And we took it. Well, we don't sit here and call Biden's minions any names like that or anything. We're just trying to get everybody back on the same team. You know, if you want to be on the team of evil, go right ahead. But we're just giving you a last shot that, you know, we're here open arms. Just, we'll help as much as we can. We'll show you everything. We have all the documents. We have all the proof, all the evidence. Everybody has a part in this. We're just trying to get you back so that we can all just, you know, go up. And if you don't want to, then that's your choice. We can't force you. You have to make that choice for yourself. That is your free will. All we could do is give you the parts and the necessary, that, you know, the tools that you could use to make your own determination on how you want to take this. You have to understand one thing. We are biologically immortal entities. We've never died. Our soul, our spirit, our ether has lived throughout this whole entire journey and journeys before, and we're going to keep on living. So which way do you want to go? I mean, we're offering you just open arms. Just, if you want to come with us, we'll help. And then you can determine from there, you know, so that you're actually, you know, educated, so that you actually, you know, that you know what's going on. So you're not, you know, taking blind faith with Biden and those guys and traveling that way. You know, we're just trying to help, and you know, that's all we can do.
Yeah, definitely. That's exactly it. And we have to remember why we are all doing this, why we're all like rising up. Why did we all sort of wake up to just have a song and dance just because we wanted to do YouTube videos? We woke up to dream, you know, to, right, let's all start up our own channel. Is that what we did it for? No. When the time has come, in our own way, whether you're awake and you're at home and you know what's going on and you're praying, or whether we've started a channel, or whether you're talking about it in your community, whatever you're doing, we're on the same side, all of us. And that side is the truth to expose all the crap that we've been enduring on this planet for eons. It's been happening for so long, and we, in our own way, are, you know, a part of this movement, a historic movement, and we should keep our vibrations high and, you know, sort of sit back and observe everything for what it is, rather than going into the fear point. I know it's difficult. It is really tough. I get that, and I'm, you know, not deflecting away from any of that. But just before I hand it over back to you, Charlie, this is where we are so tested, and the main thing is, why are we doing that? And it's because of the children. Yeah, and it's like, you know, to expose the children. None of us are doing this for anything but the children, and the children are first that led us to Trump, and then we aligned with Trump. because we realize after suffering, discerning, researching, going down the rabbit hole, whatever your awakening journey is, excuse me, whatever your awakening journey has been, we're here in the here and now is all we have. And we are fighting, we're fighting the good fight. And we haven't got long to go, really. We haven't. And you know, stay strong, everyone. That's what I keep saying, and wanting to instill, you know, and I will throughout the show. So over to you, Charlie.
Jason said such a great thing about Trump being bigger in all of this than you could possibly imagine. I mean, Colleen and I have shared a lot, but we haven't shared everything because there's sort of a point where it just becomes too ethereal. And then at that point, maybe some of the literal interpretations get lost in the mix. So, but Jason is 100% accurate with regard, and you know, Mark has spoken to this as well. Mark is one of the great things about Mark that we see is that Mark has such common sense. I think that's our strength as well. Is that from a kid we both possess just enormous amounts of just common sense. And in this day and age of subterfuge, common sense is wisdom beyond description. That's why the likes of the 3 or 4 of us here now, 5 of us, look like you know, such lights is because so many people have just lost their common sense. That's the ability to just reason within the moment, just like that, a lightning bolt in the moment, because you simply know, and that's your common sense. And that's been punished out of you day after day, week after week. They have taken your common sense away from you. And it is, you know, it is your defense mechanism, you know, to call shit. And we have been calling it something else for a long time. So speaking to that, Jason was saying that Trump is like this divining rod, and there's a reason why you either really love him or you really hate him, and to that end, it's so true. It's so true, and to that end, you know, we've always seen President Trump as a divining rod. So he's divinity. And that's why people gravitate or are repulsed. Gravity does one of 2 things. You're on the right side of these things and you're inexplicably drawn in. And if you're on the wrong side of things, no matter how hard you try, you will be repelled. And that's the incredible thing about magnetism. You can come back and try 1 billion years later and you'll still be repulsed. That's why we live in an electrical world and they don't teach magnetism. They don't want that free eternal thing going on. So they kind of hide that. But that is the truth and the essence to us too, because our left brain is an electrical circuit and our right brain is a magnetic field. There is no circuit. There is no overload. There's no fear ever of overloading in the right hemisphere of the brain. That's just that dime brain, left brain electrical circuit. And we blow a fuse all the time. So the divining rod of Donald Trump makes perfect sense because he is divine. And this divining rod, what does the divining rod do? Well, it seeks many things: level, because it's the truth, and water. And he's also King Cyrus 45, and all of the numerology about Trump is 777. JFK Jr. is 55 and 888, which is entirely different. But Trump is 45 and he is 777. So this is one who has been called at the highest level and has answered that call response. He's responded to the call in the form of 777. And so why do you think he's the president of truth? Why do you think this president of truth calls the media what they are? From the beginning, he did that. And he called them fake news, because he's the divining rod. He finds water. What does water do? It cleans away the filth. What are lies? Filth. That's what he is. And again, King Cyrus, 45 in the book of Isaiah, Cyrus was called to cleanse the lands. Trump is draining the swamp. It's the same thing. Water's involved and he's a divining rod. as Jason rightly said. And one other key point I just want to make is that as much as anything else, Colleen and I knew, just intuitively knew when we started this, that what we needed to do first and foremost was to become examples in a world that was completely upside down, and all of the heroes were specious forms. We had to be truly be in every single moment, on camera, off camera. We had to be white hats. We had to be purity. We had to be the white tower shining. So we kind of equated ourselves as lighthouses, and that's as much as anything else that we attempt to do. We just attempt to constantly shine brightly from above and allow others to see this. So when Mark and Jason were speaking about, you have to get on the right side of this, and that's where you're going to reap the rewards. It's what we're kind of trying to show you is, look at the things, like this past year from March until October, I essentially didn't sleep. That's physically, I'm 57. So that's a very difficult thing to do if you're just a physical being. But if you're something other than a physical being, it's quite easy to do. It's very, very possible. And so it's this kind of thing that we've allowed to play out through ourselves. Not that we're special, not that you should be learning from Charlie and Colleen, and that's the only way. No, that we are vessels. We are the righteous vessels that which God can flow through. So we're crystalline beings and structures, and the purity of God's light can go through us to whatever end. And neither of us, we love each other very much, and we love our life together so much. But if we were to play a role where in this form that it was terminated, that's totally okay too. We're totally okay with all of this, because what's gone on is wrong, and it all has to end. And if suddenly, amazingly, the Q team, when the NSA, who have it all, suddenly don't have it all or don't want to act upon it, Colleen and I will get on our white horses, and we will ride alone, if need be, to Washington, D.C., and we will bring swords to a gunfight, and we will win. We will take them down for you single-handedly if that's what's necessary. They're not going to win. They're not going to win. They're not going to win. This is already won. You just have to open your eyes to see the light that's here already. It isn't coming 3 weeks from now. It's here already. You just have to have the eye to see it. Back over to you.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. What lenses are we watching all of this through? With, like you said, no time for research now. We've had enough. We've done a lot. And we don't know the script in its intricacies, but we know the sort of template of it all. Yeah. Like I said, trust the plan. No, nothing can stop what's coming. Now, in the next few weeks, it's very important everyone keeps their head above water. It's been like an emotional roller coaster, but we know that this has already happened. Yeah, and in real time, the bad guys have been caught. So just because Biden has come in now, there's something good that's going to happen out of this. Yeah. I mean, the first arrest is going to shock the world. So I was like, genius, right? Is that going to be him? I mean, we're speculating here. And what we have to get out of the habit of is holding people to their word. What they're saying, like, look, if we had the manual that was given to us, none of us would have to do the show. Yeah, we're just like, right, this is how it's going to happen. We're all collectively getting together, speculating, deciphering. Jason, you're doing the comms, Mark the comedy, you guys are spiritual gnosis, and me, whatever I'm doing, just smiling away and doing my bit. Remember, I knew nothing about politics, and I openly said, I know nothing, right? But we're rising up together and collectively in that unity consciousness, getting together and trying to sort of forge forward, because let's just say Biden comes in on the 20th, right? The Insurrection Act is now in place. So effectively, he hasn't won anything. It's a dead, so we know that. Why is the panic? Like, this is great news. Like, as in, like, this is getting, it's like I don't want to use the word Netflix, but this is like on a cliffhanger at the moment. Like those popcorn, I mean, I'm not doing popcorn at the moment, I'm just on the juices. So, you know, this is getting excited, and I know it's exhausting, I know, but add the humor into it, add just a bit of a playfulness to it, because when you trust that this has actually, you know, the light has won. This is God's plan. God's in control here, you know, and we're just doing the work. So yeah, over to you, Mark.
Alpa, Mark, can I just jump in for one second here, and we'll pass it right over to Mark. Semper Fidelis, Semper Fidelis. So you need to know what that means. And when the Marines swear that, whom are they swearing it to? And so it's always loyal to God. So first off, the corpsoration of 1871, the United States corpsoration, doesn't exist anymore. It's been taken out. The post office is been rightfully established once more, so it's not hiding anything. So he hasn't won anything, and he's not the president of anything. And in this reality they've created of such violence, they would need some help. They have no help. The military now answers to God and God alone. So they are on an island. And in fact, you know, it's perfect we're going over to Mark, because what's going to actually play out through all of this fear porn that's being dumped out right now is going to be a level of comedy that you won't even believe. The Keystone Cops is coming. It's coming. There's the stuff that this is the greatest story ever made.
The Benny Hill Show.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that.
That's actually the music that's been going on in my head this whole week.
We did Abracadabra 6 with JCK and Juicy and Lucy the other day, and we put Ernie, the fastest milkman in the West, at the end, because they won't forget old Ernie. Anyway, I'm going to put a poem on. Is that right?
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, so here we go. Because, you know, I went to all the trouble of making it. I might as well show it.
Yeah, so a little bit of an interval, everybody.
Can you see it?
Like we're in the cinema.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Beautiful.
Where we go one. The quintessential question in the time of quarantine. The quarry of the quantum era, the number 17. Every lie it got revealed and shown was every crime. The dark it knew the contract's done, it really was the time. The future proves the past, we learned it hard, it was the only way. That little letter marked the path to the final days. Our voices are the greatest thing, when we let the truth run through, when we dig deep and speak it loud, we love the letter Q. When heroes rose like General Flynn, his pardon it was made. Let slip the dogs of war at last and send them to their graves. The evil ones did hiss and piss and hid behind fake news. But once the people saw their truth, they had to pay their dues. They lied and testified against the Orange Man, but underestimated the power of his clan. Our voices are the greatest thing when we let the truth run through. When we dig deep and speak it loud, we love the letter Q. When the greatest fraud against mankind was shown to all at last, every soul began to see, rewritten was the past. The trauma felt for generations by those that held the light, released in time to build the strength and fight the final fight. 1,000 years of peace and love, the promise it held firm. For those that resurrected, to bring the second term. Our voices are the greatest thing when we let the truth run through. When we dig deep and speak it loud, we love the letter Q. The day is at its darkest before the light of dawn, but the friends of JFK, to the future they were sworn, that the evil ones who had their way would end in dire straits. Once the swamp it was drained, it really was checkmate. As those that slept their way throughout finally were woke, with loving hearts we held them tight and relieved them of their yoke. Our voices are the greatest thing when we let the truth run through. When we dig deep and speak it loud, we love the letter Q. To those anons that did the work, you walked the lonely road. Our gratitude, it runs forever for showing us the codes. And those that did the posts on 8kun, we're forever in your debt. Your fortitude in times of strife, never will forget. Nothing you said can stop what's coming. We saw it in the end. One nation under God. It was time to make amends. Our voices are the greatest thing when we let the truth run through. When we dig deep and speak it loud, we love the letter Q. Our spirits heard the call of freedom, our hearts did burst with pride. When the mask dropped up our faces, the truth did smash the lies. The children that did break our hearts made us all as one. Their suffering was brought to peace, and Satan, he was done. The broken pieces of our lives stopped us from our fall. Forever now, we will say, where we go one, we go all. Our voices are the greatest thing when we let the truth run through. When we dig deep and speak it loud, we love the letter Q. The broken pieces of our lives stopped us from our fall. Forever now, we will say, where we go one, we go all.
I'm making myself cry.
Very nice, very nice.
Oh my God, I'm holding back the tears right now.
Oh, Jesus. These
It's
truth
so
vibrations
beautiful.
are very much.
So beautiful, Mark. So beautiful.
Thank you, thank you.
That was, you know what, I saw that the first time and I cried, but I have a bit of crying online at the moment. But Mark, that was beautiful. That actually surmises all of 2020, everyone that's done their research, all the things that we researched, all the emotions that we felt, all the things that we read, all the people that we met, all the connections we made, all the various things we felt inside, the people that we argued with, the things that happened, that was everything bringing us here. And we cannot forget, where we go one, we go all. This is the biggest world party, like you said, Jason Q, the other day. This is the biggest party of the world, right? And we have, should we choose to have the eyes to see it, not discrediting anything sensitive, but this is the time where we've all come together, and that's what it means. We're having people mocking us for, following Q because it's so dangerous, but learn within how to stand in that truth, using your voice, staying up, staying silent. You don't have to scream to everybody, but knowing your truth, knowing your light, and doing what you can in your capacity. I'm going to cry in a minute, Mark.
Oh, I don't know. I'm sorry. Oh, wow.
Honestly, that was brilliant. And I know a lot of people, the messages are beautiful. People are saying they're crying. It's hit so many chords. It's hit people in the heart. Thank you, Nicola. Thank you, Deborah. Like, just shouting out to you, Aisha, Monica, Alison, everyone that's just watched, they've just love it. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. And I think this was appropriate just now. This was what we all needed to hear. and remind ourselves. And I think this is why, Mark, that, you know, spontaneously, when we had that conversation, it's like, oh, you know, Jason and Charlie, I'm going to do a live with them. And I'm like, you do it. And this has happened every single time for our shows. And, you know, this is God calling. This is sort of like to give not fake hope or hopium to people. This is to raise your spirits. Yeah. You've worked hard, guys. You've worked hard in whatever way you have, whether it's been on Facebook, whether it's been with your friends, whoever, you've worked hard. And this now, the next few weeks, right up until March. And here in the UK, guys, we have a lot of strength that we need to employ because crap is hitting the fan here. We are in lockdown till April, possibly. We need to actually go into that acceptance mode. Today I was in the supermarket, it was crazy. And then I thought, right, okay, what we're going to do, we're going to fight with everyone and just scream and shout and, you know, decrease our vibration. No, just go in. I had a scarf, so I didn't wear a mask still. And I just went in and I didn't get, you know, any trouble. But it's getting quite serious, you know. People are getting fined for having a coffee outside while they're walking or going for a jog. I mean, the most ridiculous things we're hearing. So, you know, if you are feeling a little bit, you know, you're going off kilter, this is too much, stay centered, stay high vibrating. And
I don't want to hog, but I feel a very strong need to play another one.
yeah.
Is that okay? And I'm sorry for crying.
It's beautiful.
I haven't cried all year. This feels like massive relief to do with what's coming on. I mean, this is not, it's not about the show. It's about the energy, what's going on at the moment. So I shall try and hold it together. But I think you're absolutely right about people are really, this is tough, okay? And this poem that I'm going to find is the one that anybody that's feeling down or finding it tough, this is one that I think will, this is going to make me cry even more, this one. So here it is.
Love this one.
In the days of future past, we'll look back on the storm when the world was wearing masks, when America was torn. When 5D chess was played with such finesse, when criminals floundered and were left to guess. Their codes were broken, their weapons gone. Flynn's digital soldiers marched to the song of QAnon. The song of freedom, the song of love, the song of unity from heaven above. When once we stared down the barrel of the gun, one man proudly said, "The best is yet to come." We gathered closely in the end of days, fighting for our rights. When this virus washes through, it'll be like a burst of light. With golden hearts we raise the earth into the Aquarius age. Phoenicians gone and demons run, we broke out of our cage. King Cyrus rose to take the fight to the fiends of Babel once again, removing fear and usury, the chains that held down men. The song of freedom, the song of love, the song of unity from heaven above. When once we stared down the barrel of the gun, one man proudly said, "The best is yet to come." In the time of revelations, the devil's hand was shown. His heinous crimes against mankind finally were known. As the great awakening gathered speed, as the veil did turn to dust, new heroes forged and laws were made that finally were just. From Guantanamo Bay to the last hooray, the serpents were all done. The shots heard round the world, and the end of Babylon. The song of freedom, the song of love, the song of unity from heaven above. When once we stared down the barrel of the gun, one man proudly said, "The best is yet to come." In God we trust and trust the plan. Our faith was tested hard. We held on tight to the might and ran the final yard. The looking glass, it showed the way when everything seemed lost. survival of the human race at monumental cost. The storm it came, and when it did, you said it was upon us. We held the lights for the golden age, a manifested promise. The song of freedom, the song of love, the song of unity from heaven above. When once we stared down the barrel of the gun, one man proudly said, the best is yet to come. The sword of the spirit and the shield of faith, extinguishing the arrow's fire. Finally, the sons of Cain laid on the funeral pyre. Bittersweet the victory was. In righteous grace we thanked you. We raised our heads and looked ahead to sovereign times anew. The quantum era and Tesla's dreams finally found their way. In fireside talks far in the future, we know our children will say, the song of freedom, the song of love, the song of unity from heaven above. When once we stared down the barrel of the gun, one man proudly said, the best is yet to come.
Wow. Wow. I am having so many people personally messaging me and saying, and on the chat it's just gone crazy. Well, there's a lot of people crying.
Yeah, they're not the only ones.
I must know. Sorry.
Sorry, I should have muted them. It's going to be good. It's going to be amazing. We are going into the best time. We are here. It's all of you watching, everybody. Jason, Charlie, Colin, Alp. Oh my God. It's so beautiful what's coming.
It really is.
There's nothing to be afraid of.
I know. And that this could not have, I mean, I know people have seen it. And everybody, if you want to see that again and have a cry a little bit more, because I've done it about 50 times. I've seen it so many times. It just gives me so much that, you know, that feeling inside where you feel all well-spirited, and, you know, it just journeys the 2020 so beautifully, Mark. And, you know, everyone who wants to go and watch it, it's on Mark's, on his YouTube channel, Mark Attwood. So please, you know, go and watch it there again.
But you guys all contributed to those works. I'm telling you. And I can't thank you guys enough, because this really this is what unity means. And it feels like so incredible that all these souls have had the courage to just stand and say, no, yeah. We are here. We are not having this. We're not having it anymore. I'm done with it. Okay, and that's what you got to remember when you are feeling scared and when you're feeling lonely or lost. All the answers are in here.
Absolutely.
It's inner space. That's what I've learned this year.
Yeah, beautiful. And just before I hand it over to Charlie, Jason, how did that make you feel?
You know,
speechless.
Everything he does, it just, I mean, he usually gets me speechless. I mean, and that's a tough thing to do at this point. But I mean, he does. He hits all those right, you know, feel good nerves in the what pulls us through all of this.
Yeah.
So, you know, thanks a lot, Mark. I appreciate it. You know,
it just sort of surmises it all, brings it together. You know, all the little nitty gritty. This was supposed to happen. That was supposed to happen. And anyone, you know, Trump did win by a landslide. I mean, I even found myself getting triggered this week. He did, but this is what we need to focus on. The best is yet to come, because we're in 5D. Let's not sort of descend. We're ascending. We're ascending into whatever, you know. We're moving. We're raising our vibrations, and we get, of course, we do get our ups and downs. The roller coaster of emotion hits us all. I appreciate that, me included. You know, We've got a great support network, and it's not for fake opium. It's not to lead anybody up the garden path. Why? Just, you know, collectively though, we've journeyed this together, and we're going to look at this, when we look back at this, and all the different chapters are going to make us smile, that we actually stood up at a moment in history together, made friends that we thought that were from all around the world, you know, not just in our little units, in our house, in our work and everywhere, from around the world. And I'm so blessed to know the most amazing humans like in this journey. So yeah.
I want to, if I may, I got a text message from one of my best friends before Christmas, because I'd been sending my poems, and this is what he said to me: "Will you do me a favor and stop sending me these videos? They are pretty upsetting / disturbing for me. I respect your right to choose your pathway. I always watch what you send so that I can understand you a bit more, but I'm on such a different path in life. I love life with all its struggles, depression, friendships, relationships, workload, pandemic, politics, loss, love. It's all entwined. But this stuff you send me, this end of days Q stuff, this all-seeing knowledge, it's not my thing. Let's not involve it in our friendship anymore." Now, the reason I'm reading that is because I know that everybody watching this that understands what we're talking about has been through huge loss. And it's, you know, that combined with the suicide rate going through the roof, this is not, you know, this is called the Great Awakening for a reason. It's not the itsy bitsy awakening, it's the Great Awakening, right? And everybody on this planet or in this realm has paid a huge price to be here, but that's why the reward is going to be so great, in my opinion.
No, I don't, you know, definitely. The harder we're working and staying centered, you know, the end result will feel that much sweeter. So Charlie and Colleen, over to you.
So we're looking at the singularity of being with God in heaven, and then the great fall into duality, which is where we have been, heaven and hell. It's our choice. Left-hand path, right-hand path, red shift, blue shift. And then here we see this thing that has cropped up and has begun to be spoken by so many people. And I wonder if they even fully understand the wholeness of it. But unity consciousness, and unity is such a key word, because what it presupposes is that there was a singularity. And from a single drop of rain, we should be able to deduce an Atlantic or a Pacific. So if we fell into the duality, which is going from heaven to hell, then there must be a balancing that occurs. There must be a righting of the ship. And that is this unity, because it presupposes that there was singularity, there was a duality, and that we are coming back home. And this is what it's all about. It's about the pine cone being used. Don't worry about, there's a million videos on YouTube about how to decalcify your pine cone. There's 2 videos on YouTube that tell you how to use your pineal gland. Use your pineal gland and it will burn away the calcification. You don't have to worry about the calcification. There's nothing that they can do. It's God's creation. They are the hands of man. They don't have any power over us. The only power they have is to influence the decisions that we make, which Jason was saying earlier. All of this is based upon free will. It is our choice. And the choices we've made have been hijacked by pirates upon the sea. That's the Phoenicians. And trace the Phoenicians back. They are the Canaanites. And they were cast east of Eden, which is west. And the west of the Holy Land is the rolling hills of Phoenicia. Hence the Phoenicians, who spread out in hatred and disgust and are vile. And we are mankind, and it has taken 1,000 years, 2,000 years. If this is the Babylonian deception, it has taken us 6,000 years to respond to what they have done and the tentacles that they've spread. But there's a righteous force. There's a righteous kraken, and it is a kraken heads right now, and their entire world is collapsed. All of the gold that the queen, and I hope everyone in the United Kingdom knows this. She scheduled regular visits down to her vault, and there she was escorted weekly to walk through her gold.
Smaug the dragon.
Smaug the dragon, for sure. Smaug the dragon. She walked through her gold while everyone, families, were stressing over how to pay a credit card bill and how to put food on the table for their families. That gold is gone, and all of that wealth, which exists in complete abundance beyond what you can't even possibly imagine. You cannot. All of that will be returned to us. And what we do with it is our choice, but everything is back on the table, and that is level. And that's where we're getting back to, is instead of the world being turned upside down, the ship has been righted and the world is turning right side up, and we're coming back to a level playing field where it is open and fair for everyone, which is great, because at the end of the day, when the playing field is level, then the cream rises to the top. That's a meretricious system. That is a system based on merit. And when you have merit within a system, you have greatness within a system. And I did a post just a couple of days ago. I've been holding on to it for a long time. And then it was the time to release it. And that is future proofs past. What is, and that just hit my golden bell as soon as Mark shared that story, that email from his friend. And what is the quickest way to waken them up? That is to give them the entirety of the earth, to give them abundance, to give them true freedom. And then within minutes, hours, or days, they will go, well, then what went on for the past 1,000 years? Future proves past. And you don't have to go into massive detail. You don't have to hit them over the head 1,000 times over with picture after picture and video after video of monster skinning a baby alive. You simply show them perfection on earth. And then they're going to go, oh, those demons. Oh, those demons. Because if we can have perfection on earth in 6 days, then what have they done to us for 1,000 years? And that's future proving past. Now, one of the things that I would really, really love, because it's such a privilege to have all of you here with us, I'd really love to get Jason and then Mark and then Alpa's take on what is happening in this week and what is coming with regard to the 20th and this sting operation. Oh, I don't want to give too much away. And the sting operation that's coming with regard to the swearing in of this dead king and fake queen. So Jason, if you feel comfortable with that, my friend, would you like to share with us your thoughts, and then Mark, your thoughts on why they've taken a step back, why they're allowing this to play itself out, and how this is potentially going to play itself out?
Sure, Charlie, thanks. And what's going on now is, like they said, this has all been played out before. We've already done this before. We've done this many times. Right now, we're getting to it. We're going to end it. Everything that is happening now is exactly everything that was mirrored back in November. They started with the 11.3 start, 11.4 actionable. Well, what they've essentially done is, like right now, today is what, the 14th? Or is it the 13th today? 14th, I believe. So today is today's the 14th. Today's Thursday. Thursday. So it's funny that it happened today. So
6 days till the 20th.
So today is essentially the second day. Today is it's basically hammer time. That's why the military is completely active right now. I mean, they're up in the skies, they're on the ground, they're taking everything out. What they've done is they've condensed this whole entire war, this whole Armageddon that has been, played out, throughout millennia. And we brought it back home, and we're taking it to them on our home turf. What we as Americans have to understand, and people across the world, is that there's been a lot of evil that has been going on our watch that's been hidden from us. And now that we know what's been going on, now we have to take care of it as well. We have the military that is doing all the heavy lifting, and currently there's Anons all across the planet that are, tapped into the whole collective. It's a collective consciousness. So it's a unity consciousness, like Charlie said. And all they needed were select few that could actually tap into the collective consciousness and start dispersing the information. Now, the ones that could do that, you have to eliminate two things. You have to eliminate your ego, because there's no reason to have any ego in any of this, because we're all one. We're all the humankind. We're all the same. Secondly, is skepticism. You can't be a skeptic. If there's a plan, it's a divine plan. What this is divine plan of cosmic law of light and love. We violated it because of our misuse of atomic energy. Now it's getting all cleaned up. So what we have to do is understand that the ones that violated it are the true evil. Now, God's stepped in again, and he sent his top officer down to fix it. And I'm just gonna say that it's kind of mind blowing to actually be sitting here with Charlie and all of you. I mean, every one of you, everyone that's sitting at home that's doing this, every one of you have contributed. And it just, it's so just mind blowing to me that, after, Mark's poems and, Charlie's, explanation about the pine cone and the pineal gland, and, bringing all faith and everything back into this, that we're winning. We won it. We're going to win it again. And it's just, it's big. Because, trust me, I've got tons of decodes and all. It's one of those that it's like, where do you start? It's just like, I could just blab and people would just be like, their heads will be spinning, but it's one of those that
some of the decodes that you decipher, share some of them, few.
Well, that's
just a few.
Which way? Well, which way do you want to go? We can go any which way,
So let's just take the next 6 days. Yeah, we've got 6 days till the 20th, right? This is just, this is just from what you're discerning. What can we expect? We've all got our sort of views on this, and like I said at the start, twists and turns, and we ultimately we have to wait and see and just trust the plan. But yeah,
I spoke about this last night when we were on a YouTube live, and there's something that's really weird about this that we never thought about, that just hit us last night. That why are they bringing the dogs into this? It's something that just kind of hits you. And remember that everything's a movie, and they keep on mentioning masks, right? All this masks, and you have to wear masks, and you bring the dogs into it, and then you start thinking about the storyline. You start thinking about the whole clones and body doubles. What if this whole thing is the DS, if you mirrored it, it's SD. What if it's a famous cartoon that used a dog and masks, and at the end they would take off a mask and find. There we go. and what if? I mean, and this is just shot out can, but what if when we watch this whole Biden, getting sworn in, because we know it's not him, because he attached earlobes, that's a dead giveaway, because he didn't have attached earlobes, now he does. What if they do? What if they take off the masks, take his mask off? I mean, what are people going to do? I mean, really, you can't tell them. You got to show them, right? I mean, and then you have everybody there ready to be arrested. I mean, the first mass arrest is going to check the world. There you go. I mean, you might as well just throw it all up in one mix. Trump said he's not going to be there. So, I mean, they give us so many clues. Like the clue for this, they had Arnold Schwarzenegger standing there in a there was, I don't even know what the article was, and he's standing there looking at this mask. It looks just like him. I'm like, it looked like him perfectly down to the hair. So, I mean, we've taken some pretty wide shots, but I mean, we come pretty close with everything. So, I mean, why not? It all started with General Flynn coming back into the play, and because he's the one that announced the Insurrection Act. President Trump couldn't. He has to stay completely neutral. He cannot show any favoritism one way or another. He has to stay completely neutral. So, all started with this quote unquote funeral for the Officer Brian Sicknick that happened to died in Wednesday's riots on Christmas Eve. Sicknick, and he joined the department in July of 2008, which July is the 7th month. 7 + 2 + 8. There's your 17. Then you have Officer Brian, because A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. O is 15. B is 2. So 17. Sicknick on Christmas Eve. Orthodox. Yeah, that's just, and these people are sick, right? Okay. Why not? So, but then there was there's something that Simon said yesterday about meeting Q, and everybody's ridiculing him and everything. But he said that they go by the boss, right? So of course, why not? Just go ahead and take a stab at this. What if we found her? What if we found her? Because Q is a quantum computer. Of course, Q's not going to show himself. It's a computer, fools. It is a computer. Of course it's not going to talk. But every computer, a computer has a system administrator, right? The one that runs it. So when you look at this and you think, okay, well, the boss, well, you just use common sense, and just start looking through, search engines. Came up to an article. The date of the article was January 27, 2020. It says Microsoft quantum boss explains how she rose through the ranks at Microsoft and how to get a job in the hottest emerging tech field. Now, with everything in the drops that we've all did over and over and over again, there's a couple things that stand out. The authors of it, Ashley Stewart and Allison Chantel. Now, ASAS. So it's like, when I remember one of the drops, it says AS second whistleblower, AS third whistleblower. But then there's the date, January 27, 2020. Now, we have a delta, ABCD, 1, 2, 3, 4. So delta is 4. But when you're using, time travel, when you're using different timelines, you split it up. You go 2 and 2, or you can go 3 and 1. It can vary all the way down. So what we could do is you take January 27, 2020, and the time was 23:11. So you take January and you subtract 3 months. So you end up with October. Then you take the 27th and you add a day, October 28th. It would be October 28th, 2019, because you went back. So instead of 2020, it'd be 2019. That is exactly the 2-year delta of the first drop.
Yeah.
They made this mathematically impossible for anything to be a coincidence. That is why everything hits as perfect as it does. So, what else they did was the woman's name, right? Her name is Julie Love. So, when you think about that, we can go right back to post 1432. It says, love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast. It is not proud, it is not rude. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. Of course not. She's running the show. She's the system administrator for the quantum computer for Q3/Q5, which is President Trump and the entire celestial family. They're here. They're the quasars. It is just, and then when we go to like post 4462, it talks about division, and then it says the narrative has you. No one person is above another. Unity is strength. Unity is love. Unity is humanity. Trust yourself. Think for yourself. Only when good people who act collectively come together will positive change occur. Now, when you think unity is strength, that could be Donald Trump's, President Trump's first term. Then you have unity is love. Right back to Julie. Then it goes, unity is humanity. President Trump's second term. So essentially, we're getting rid of the corporation. Then we're going back to the constitutional republic. We are not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic. Every time people say democracy, democracy plus socialism equals communism. Mm-hmm. That is why we're not a democracy. All these, if you notice, like all the Democrats, from like California, New York, they're always cheering about, democracy. We're going to lose our democracy. It's like, I want to lose our democracy. I mean, we're ready to give this up like yesterday. But I mean, we have to expose them all. We have to expose every single one of them. The media, big pharma. I mean, we're getting ready to take everything out. I mean, when you realize what exactly President Trump is getting ready to do, there is not one person that will check any other box other than President Trump for the next election. I guarantee it. Brilliant. Because it's just, there's so much that's going to go away, but there's so much that's coming in. Remember, as much bad and evil as there's going to be exposed and how much there is, remember, there has to be balance. So there has to be that much good and that much, good, everything, good, bad. There's going to be a lot coming out. A lot.
Wow. Yeah. That was amazing, Jason. Thank you. And a lot of great comments on our chat. And I mean, I'm not going to be as extensive as that, with the numbers. I think it was brilliant. You've really thought this through, and this is mathematical. There's so many comms. But before I hand it over to you, Mark, Charlie, thank you.
Just everything that Jason is saying is that all of this is at a very simple level, because at the end of the day, as genius as all of this creation is, it operates on a very, very simple structures, so that if somebody ever did hide the blueprints to it, or they didn't give you a startup disk or even the keys to your car, you still could basically get your way or navigate your way through all of it. So there's a beautiful essence behind all of this that just flows. It's like a river, and it just flows. And all you have to do is build yourself a raft and get into the mainstream, and then off you go. And so many things that Jason said are just great, but there is this balance that has to occur. And anyone who did, that's all the Buddha taught. The middle way is getting in alignment with what is. And you can argue about it and argue who it doesn't matter. What is. And what is in the physical realm is the mother. And the mother is truth. She is absolute perfect balance. So check out how why tides exist and how they function. Check out why the wind exists and how it functions. And the same thing with currents. Everything is seeking balance in every single moment because the mother wants to return to the father. They're in love. That's why they're both the scalar wave. That's why they're both photonic in nature, because they're both
Meaning the sun and the moon.
The sun and the moon, because they are deeply connected to one another. And so it's our job. And really, you know, when you look at the shirt, I mean, it says it all. So, you know, you have the mother, the father, and the child, and we must become connected to them through our single eye, our third eye. And you see how there's a line that connects them. So you have the womb for the mother, then you have the phallic father pyramid, and then you have the open-eyed child. And that's all you have to do with any of this. And then the gift to us is balance, because you're harnessing two worlds into one. And once again, that's that word unity. Unity again, when you take two worlds into one. As Jason said, we're all one. What Mark's poems are all about at the end of the day is that it reduces everything down to one, that you can have groups that are so messed up way over here, and then we're way over, but at the end of the day, we have to come together again, because if we don't go forward one with all, then we're divided, scattered, leaderless. And then this is how this all starts again. Pockets here, there, and everywhere, and those pockets begin to form again into groups, and those groups begin to plan again, and all of this will just reemerge. So if we don't go forward as one in this unity consciousness, harnessing these two worlds into one, the feminine and the masculine, the yin and the yang, the above and the below, then you know, we're going to miss the gift. This is a gift. Again, the beautiful nature of all of you and the work that you've done all this year is that you've all pointed this out again and again. Nothing is guaranteed. This is, you know, again, this is what Professor Tolkien wrote about completely. So did Lewis, completely in their works. There was no guarantee that they were going to win. None of this was guaranteed. Aragorn spent his entire life serving others, and he had everything in the world to gain through the downfall of Saruman and him becoming king and becoming the, you know, betrothed to Arwen. But what's the first thing that he did once his kingdom had been rightfully established? He said, well, we just need to offer ourselves up as sacrifices if it gives Frodo the necessary time to be able to potentially cross this desert and cast the ring into the fire. So that is selflessness at a level that just cannot be quantified. It is brilliant and genius. So this is faith without guarantee. This is hope without guarantee. And it's when you do this, it's when you take that step in the dark and you know that there's a chasm, you don't know how far it is, but you know you have to take that step, and you trust that step is a righteous step and that you will not fall. That's the moment that the eucatastrophe exists. It's when the light turns on and the darkness flees, because that's what happens. When light turns on, darkness flees. There's no other way. It doesn't, the only way darkness comes back is if the light turns itself off.
So when you light the right hemisphere and you cast your net to the right, the left, the shadows are gone.
Yeah.
So that's what we each have to do. This is the hero's journey right now. We're all on it, every single one of us. And nobody can do it for us. It has to be you. It has to be you. So this is where we pick up our armor of God, and this is where we journey forth. There is no other way to do this. It has to be done.
That's right. And again, the significance, if you didn't pick this up, again, you know, the book of Revelations is all code, right? I mean, this is genius. And that's why all of the people who created the Bible are all part of the Q team. The Q team is all part of the team that created the Bible. They're all one and the same, because they're children of God that know this one story and know the code that fits it all together. So the Sixth Church of Philadelphia is the Sixth Chakra, and the Sixth Chakra is the third eye. So once again, we go back to the t-shirt. That is the Church of Philadelphia. We have to become the Church of Philadelphia. What's the only Philadelphia that we now know? The city of Philadelphia. And what do they call it? The city of brotherly love. What do? They turn light to dark. What is our job? What do Mark's poems do? What does listening to Jason, just inside of that beautiful mind, just take all of these numbers without judgment, let them flow inside of him, and then he just orders them back into sensicality. And then what do you get? You get dark to light. That's our job. That's all we ever have to do, is cast the light upon the dark and it flees. We are the Church of Philadelphia. We're not the city of Philadelphia. And if, as Jason is saying, that, you know, you have this split of timelines and this separation, and therefore the duality, light to dark, dark to light, then 119 is 9/11. It's high time they had a 9/11. And then this is where you're going to get on the 20th, the Keystone Cops. And it's going to be an ending that you cannot possibly imagine. And it's going to have you crying. It's going to have you laughing, but it's going to exalt you. That's what's coming. So wow. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Mark, please chime in again.
That was amazing. Just before you go on, Mark, Charlie, you've explained that really, really well and simplified it, because the ending, it is going to be amazing. It is going to have us in tears. And I feel that, and you must embrace that certainty. The intricacies, the detail, you know, I mean, this has all been laid out for us. And we trust that hope, that faith that we had. And I love what you said there, Charlie. Thank you, because that just gave me shivers there. It's beautiful. And Jason, thank you. That I actually really got, you know, I really digested everything that you said there. Even though there's a lot of comms and stuff, it made sense, because you're adding value, you know, giving us, and, you know, to broaden our minds as well. So I remember we spoke about this on our chat, and now it's actually really sunk in. So thank you for that, Jason. It's beautifully put. Mark, over to you.
Well, you know, a year ago, I was looking forward to the third Spider-Man film. Now I'm looking forward to Scooby-Doo 3 and the Keystone Cops. So I think, you know, if I'm going to go to you know, I was brought up on TV in the 70s, right? And I used to love Doctor Who. And Doctor Who was like 25 minutes, and then it'd be 1 week. You didn't know what was going to happen. There was no videos. There was no internet. There was no chat. You had no idea what was coming the next week. And it's a cliffhanger. When we're at the moment, we're in the age of spoilers. So I really don't want any spoilers. I just want to enjoy the show, because that's what you told me to do, and that's where I'm at. So I'm really not getting. I'm not in the prediction business.
You just ordered a lot of popcorn. That's what you did.
I know it's. Well, I put on a few pounds. I know it's going to be fine. I know it's going to be more than fine, and the details. I just want to sit and watch it.
Yeah. You're just absorbing it all and just enjoying it. God's
got this. That's all I know. I know that. I know that. Cut me through the middle. I know that. So I'm not worried. I'm you know, I would like to say that I'm chillaxed about it. I'm not. You know, I'm feeling the energy. I don't know. I'm not sleeping well. I don't know what to do. I'm pacing up and down, and you know, I'm not making a lot of sense. I don't know what day of the week it is most of the time, but I'm chillaxed.
Yeah, no, and I shared that same sentiment, Mark. You know, I don't know, there's been so many twists and turns. You know, there was one train of thought, but of course now we're all told Biden is going to be sworn in. I was speaking about this with my friend Tara. In fact, she said, Alpa, you know, this is going to possibly happen. Biden may be sworn in, because this is where the first arrest could happen, because it's treason, what's being committed. And then General Flynn takes place, and his position in this narrative. And then we've got the 120 days till Jasara, fully coming into fledge, and then there you go, DJT comes into play on the 3rd of March. A possibility, I have no idea. Like Mark, though, I share that same sentiment, because I really don't know. None of us know. Some of these twists and turns, I mean, taking the laptop, we know that they've got all the stuff on Pelosi. We know that they've got everything. Did we know that they were going to do this at the Capitol on the 6th? We didn't, right? And I didn't hear anybody saying that. Not that I'm listening to so many people at the moment, but that was like that. What a chess move, that was a good power play, and all this kind of stuff. This is what I want to sort of instill in people. Like, okay, we're enjoying it. Enjoy the journey. It's like watching like a Netflix movie, like not movie, a series, and we're on the like series 11 now. The 11th hour, and we need to really embrace this journey. And I don't know, I mean, it's just I'm ordering lots of popcorn too, but yeah, enjoying the journey.
Can I just say something?
Go ahead, Sarah.
It's a brand new world that's coming, right? And when he says in Mark's poem, he says the best is yet to come. Most of us don't understand that yet, because we've lived such a suffering life where we don't have enough money, we don't have enough jobs, we don't have enough time, we don't have enough of whatever the resources in our children and all of this stuff. It's a completely different world that's coming, and I know we probably can't. And like Mark says, we have to have the faith, right? So the entire shift that is happening, we just have to sit back and, like you said, just relax. But you're not going to lose your house. You're not going to be without food. Your neighbors are going to help you. You don't have to freak out at this point, because we're not alone. You may think you're alone, but you're not alone. We're all here for you, and the person next to you is going to help you. So honestly, this is the time to just start shining and not being in despair, and stop listening to those freaking channels that freak you out. You really need to stop. Today's the day. Stop listening to the neighbors or your family or anybody that's just giving you shit in your ear. You need to stop. Take responsibility for it. And at this point, know that you're going to be okay. You're not going to lose your house, your car, your job. Those things are going to be replaced. Everything is going to change. It's going to be great. The best is yet to come. That is not bullshit. It's real. And we are part of making that happen. Every single one of us, it's our responsibility to help each other. So that's why we're here, is to help each other. Know that inside of you. Like Mark says, cut yourself and in the middle of you that this is the truth.
Yeah, you know what the insurance industry is a replacement of friends, family, and community. And what is Walmart? The replacement of friends, family, and community. Insurance, why would any of us need insurance? If somebody suffers, we'll all pitch in and help one another, because that would be nice if they did it for us. That's kind, man. Insurance, why do you need insurance? People ask all the time, Charlie, do you think the insurance industry is a scam? Do you think? Do you think it's turning you from mankind into man suffering, into man complacency, into man unkind, man greed, all of these things that we're not? It's an illusion. In fact, it's worse than the illusion. It's the delusion. And remember, the DE words, they all take away. You deposit your money to a bank. DE is to take away. That's what it means. That's where fractional reserve banking comes from. You hand over your money, they keep 10%, and then the 90%, they loan out the 90% amount. So if you deposit $100,000 into the bank, they keep 100. They don't even do that anymore. They did for a little while, and they don't even keep that money in the vault anymore. The $900 gets lent out 9 times. That's $8,100 made up of thin air. It doesn't exist. So this is the brilliance. This is what we've tried to teach constantly about Nasara, is that what's coming with Nasara? Just take away the lies. That's all. What is Nasara? It's just taking away the lies. What's going to be given to us? Nothing, just take away the lies. So President Trump, you know, he went on and on and on about the middlemen. Nobody seems to know who these middlemen are and stuff, but it seems to me that they're the ones causing all of these price increases. And, you know, in our medical industry, the prices are so high. And I was saying, you know, we make them all here in America. Your corporation is all in America. The lowest prices for all of our pharmaceuticals should be in America. So, you know, you got a little, who are these people that are racking? Well, it seems to be they're middlemen and nobody seems to know who they are, where they come from, but they're just driving all the prices up. I think we can get the prices down 90%. He disappeared for 3 days. The prices plummeted. EpiPens went from almost $500 to $3.95.
Brilliant.
Why? Because he killed the Hydra. He removed the middleman, and then all of the prices. And now he just did that for one thing. What happens when we do that for your house?
No income tax.
So
no property tax.
So first off, the prices are going to plummet because there's no more middleman who is skewering you, because it's not about how much money they have, it's about how little money you have. That's how the many control the few, so by making you live in lack while they have abundance. That's all it is.
Take away the parasite.
It's a card game. It's a house of cards, and a house of cards will blow down with the breath of God. The righteous ate, and it's gone. It's that simple. So when you look at Nassar and the protocols of Nassar, it's brilliant. Usury, as Mark beautifully put, you know, front and center in one of his poems, is been kicked out of every single country in the world. These people have tried this elsewhere, and they've been kicked out everywhere until they found a home in London. And their tentacles, their spider webs spread out everywhere. And now every single country is under this demonic grasp of usury. You can't have usury. I mean, like, look at this from a very practical, simple level. All that exists is the principal. That's it. If you charge interest on top of the principal, where does that money come from? It doesn't. You would have to invent it into existence.
So it creates slaves.
And we're debt slaves. And so it's the game Monopoly. And at some point, it just doesn't matter. It's a game of time. At some point, the entire game goes back into the box along with you with it, as a little token, no longer mankind, no longer the living, and God is the God of the living, not of the dead. And you go back into the box as a token because you played a false game. Maritime Admiralty law. It's you accepting you as a birthing certificate, which can be legally owned, instead of being mankind, so which is free.
We put the box of Monopoly away and we don't play it anymore.
You don't play those games. Look at all the games that they ever created that were popular. And you look at, you know, Risk and Life and Sorry, Stock Ticker, and all of these games, it's lack and suffering and life stinks. And boy, how did those games just get? You would think somebody would make a happy game, but they didn't. Total diplomacy. That's right. So the brilliance about Nassara is that all it does is give you back what should be. So there cannot be income tax. The Bible talks about this so perfectly, so beautifully in Genesis, that you either your sweat equity or your intellectual property cannot be taxed. It cannot be taken by anybody else. It is your righteous creation that cannot be taxed, and it cannot be stolen. It cannot be taken. You know, this is the original office of patenting that God created. Their office of patenting steals. That's what the office of patent is. It delays the process of taking these brilliant creations designed to help the many, and then gives them time to steal it, and then they suppress it or use it for themselves underground. That's all the office of patent has ever done, is to take away the genius of people like Jason and Mark away from us, Nikola Tesla away from us, and give us, you know, somebody else, Albert Einstein.
Kind man wanted to share all of that. Tesla wanted to share it all.
That's right.
But the monopoly men, no, they don't share.
No. No, they don't. So that's the brilliance of Nasara. Everything is just giving back to you what naturally exists. You take away all of these specious systems like property tax. I paid off my, so what? You paid off your mortgage. You never stop paying on your home. And you don't even own it. Go through the documentation of your own mortgage. You don't own that place at all. And they can have you out of there at all they have to make up is an excuse. And if something is, 6 inches and 1 pebble below, it's theirs. This is lunacy. It's insanity. So you take that stuff away. That's Nasara. And then on top of this, I've shared this with you so many times about the basis to maritime admiralty law and the birthing certificate process. You are worth so much money, not that it ultimately really matters anyways, but you're worth so much money because they have bought and sold you and traded you and bet against you. When all this was going on from 2001 to the crash in 2008 and all of this, the new stock market where everything was essentially algorithms and was just betting for or against, mostly against all of these certain things happening. They've been doing that to you your whole life. Ever wondered why you've been divorced so many times? Ever wonder why you lost your job so many times? Ever wondered why you have cancer? Why the table is tilted, the game is rigged, and everything is against you? Because they're betting against you. You are worth more money than you could possibly imagine because they have been investing against your suffering for forever, and it's made them rich and rich and rich and rich and rich, and it all is there. Now, when do you give that back to everyone? How does it ever come back? Do we really need it? I don't know these things, but I'll guarantee you that's true. I'll guarantee you absolutely positively that those accounts in your birthing certificate number exist. And that's this dead man walking corpsoration. And that's why Hollywood has this fascination with zombie movies, because that's what we are. We're dead men walking because our essence was left in the birthing canal. The doctor took out merchandise from the Mary Sea, not the righteous, pure Virgin Mary, but the false. And then that's what we are. We just live our lives a complete lie. And then they bet against us our entire lives. And they're worth bajillions and fulfillions and gillions of dollars, all betting against us. That's how this
all
is all
about
work.
to end. That's the beauty of it. And we're on the precipice. And most of us don't understand that this is the end, but it's the beginning
That's right.
of the best is yet to come.
That's right. That's right.
Quite a few questions on the RV as well. When we were expecting that, has it taken place? I think from now until, for the first 6 days, Charlie, I think, what are your expectations? What's going to happen from now until the 20th?
There's so much stuff that's happening behind the scenes. And then, what Mark said, I'm painfully aware of and sympathetic to. I don't want to give away. I've seen some things. And so in that sense, I know what's coming. But, the specific details, of course, I absolutely do not. But I don't want to give anything away because Mark's absolutely right. This is painstakingly the greatest movie ever made. It is. This is the greatest storytelling that's ever existed. And if I say too much, then I'm going to rob people of the shock and the surprise and the range of emotions. And that's what's happening right now. You're just being pulled. 107 is absolutely John F. Kennedy Jr. Is he John F. Kennedy Jr. all the time? No, because that's the art of disguise. That's Sun Tzu and the art of war. You never, ever make yourself predictable to the enemy. But these are all his creations, right? They're all his creations. Is he them all the time? No, not at all. You never know when. So if I say too much at this point, it's going to rob you of this brilliant gift. And that would be egotistical of me. And I don't want to be associated with the ego at all, ever. So this is all I can say to you. I guarantee you. And like we said to you earlier, we're not kidding. If something happens and miraculously they have it all, but they're not going to use it, we will get on our horses alone if need be, and we will ride to DC and we'll take them down ourselves.
But we know
Absolutely.
we wouldn't be alone. There'll be all of you.
That's right.
With us.
There would be an army by the time we got there. Yeah.
Well, I have to swim. You know, you've got your horses and stuff. You know, I might have to paddle over there from the
No,
UK.
I can still fly. I remember how to fly. We'll just nick a plane.
Oh, okay. Right. Well, you know, private one for me then, please, Mark. You know. Wow. This has been a brilliant show. You know,
Jason.
No, I'm not ruining the movie. I'm not. I was just after both of you guys said that, I'm like, no. but I'm telling you right now.
We're going to go, oh, but the thing is, it's right. And it makes so much sense, you know, because we speculate and then you say something and then you actually say something and then people pin their hopes on that. And then all sorts of stuff happen. And then we give time. Listen, I think that today, looking and watching at these poems, the best is yet to come. I think that just reminded everybody. It was so powerful watching the poems today, and I'm sure everybody's agreeing here because the chat was on fire when they saw the poems, and it's been a lovely, gentle reminder, but a very much needed reminder of what this was, and it sort of surmises everything together, surmises the whole journey together, and it was beautifully put, Mark. So thank you. And you know, I think, as you said, the best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. How? We just have to, like, you know, ride the rainbow waves. That's my favorite saying, you know. Did you want to say something, Jason?
Yes, please, Jason.
After looking at, you know, they say like follow the pen and everything. I mean, what Charlie said, I mean, it is like 1000% correct. I mean, they told us that we have more than we know. I mean, just in the knowledge, and we just have to find it. And once you realize, I mean, Nassar's already been put in effect. I mean, everything's in effect. You know, the ball's rolling, but it's gonna appear like it's gonna get like really ugly and like the tides are turning, you know, to the dark. But it's not. It's not. Just sit back, relax, grab some popcorn. Just understand this is all a movie. It's all it is. This is to wake everyone up. There are some that are completely woke that, you know, I mean, that you could just dictate what's going to happen. But is that fair for everyone? Well, if people wanted to know, they could ask, but, you know, it's not right for it. But now, you know, just understand that this is going to be better than you could ever imagine. I mean, this is the golden age. This is going to be hands down one of the best, one of the greatest events in mankind.
It is.
And there's tons of other entities watching as well. So this is the first time this has ever happened. And, you know, we're going to do it the right way.
Brilliant.
So, that is good.
Brilliant. Gold, up to the right.
Up to the right.
Is that a map to where the party is afterwards?
I forgot to say, we're just all having a party at Charlie and Colin's after, you know. We're all going to Mexico. Wow.
Oh yeah, Mexico, look out.
We could use some help with the animals, that's for sure.
They can party with us as well, it's fun. Wow, today's been an amazing show. And just before we go, a few final thoughts, Mark, before we go?
It's all good. It's all good. You know, that's all I can say.
Charlie and Colleen, just before we go, I think, you know, everyone's just sending us so much love. I think there's great reciprocity for this. You know, everyone's just really, you know, connecting with each other on the chat. It's really nice. And I thank all of you for this. You know, this was spontaneous. It was last minute. And it's always in the divine plan. And you know, there is a reason this connection happened today, because it was necessary. Charlie, when I spoke to you on the phone earlier on, you just said it's going to be necessary for today, and it will be the right thing. The poems, your notes, Jason, thank you. Everything today in this chat has been amazing, and you know, it's not false hope here. I appreciate when we go back, you know, grassroots, things will be a bit testing, a bit difficult, but you know, stay within yourself, stay within your own resolve. Have a cry if you need to. If you're feeling frustrated, fair enough. You know, don't watch things that then trigger you as well, and then sort of set you into a state of anxiety. You know, then just go within, meditate, go ground yourself, go into nature. You know, be with your animals if you've got pets. You know, be with people that love you, that are going to give you the nourishment and nurturing within your soul. Just stay away for now from the people that trigger you and then put you in that lower vibration. There's a beautiful community, be it with people on Facebook, social media. There's nothing false about that, because right now we've all connected so beautifully, and we're all giving each other so much love and support. And I think that's brilliant, and we must not take away from that. We must not sort of lose faith and feel, oh, this is just rubbish and this is just nonsense and all this kind of sort of negativity. I get it. We all get it. We all have our sort of ups and downs and roller coasters and the mixture of emotions. But the beautiful thing is, remember on what's important. Remember what's important. The fight this has been like 11 months, 12 months. For people who've been awake, it's probably been tortured for years and years and years. But this is the moment. This is the moment. And we're not far, I don't think. You know, yes, there will be a lot of things that are going to test us in the next 6 days acutely. And Charlie rightfully said right at the beginning, you know, the UK is going to be tested. I mean, it is very, you know, strenuous at the moment. People are losing their crap. And this just goes to show how much work needs to be done within. You know, and I found that recently as well, and I spoke to you both about it. Like, I was triggered this week. I really, really was. But you know, you sort of take yourself out of yourself, and you think, okay, what is this telling me? What is this situation? What is this emotion? What are these feelings telling me? And you take yourself, isolate yourself out from the situation, and you go within. You breathe, you ground. And that's important, whatever works for you. But going into that sense of negativity is just not good for your soul. It corrodes your soul. And this is, like you say a lot, Mark, in your videos, it's not about giving fake hopium and saying, yeah, just trust the plan, and like we're some crazy imbeciles and fools. No. You know, the reality is we are realistic, yeah? We're realistic, but have that exuberance within you. Have that joyous attitude with you. Have the humor. Mark and I are always on the phone. I'm singing the song. I phone Aisha, I'm speaking to her, and I just burst into some kind of rap song, you know? Keeping that joyous, childlike, you know, humor within. Because otherwise you have a choice. And the choice is stay in Negersville or stay in the, you know, the path towards, you know, the centralized, the center, the right, you know, being exuberant and joyful in your nature, even when it's so dark and even when you're tested, and then step away from self if you find that, you know, you're feeling crap. So yeah, that's my lecture over. And those are my parting words, and I want to thank everybody that's shown support to all of us. Charlie and Colleen, you've had so much love, said where people miss you, but you know, you guys are going to be working on setting up your own sites, and you're on MEWE, and yeah, let's just, you know, see how this.
It's all coming, Alpa, and I just want to end the show with one thought here. Remember, you know, again, where people just say this is hopium, you're not listening. You're not listening. This is practical. This is real science. Everything is about left versus right, good versus evil, God versus the devil, right versus wrong. It totally is. And the left brain is an electrical circuit. Study Nikola Tesla. That's what I did. I didn't take anything that anyone ever said about Tesla as the truth and built off of that. I said, I don't know anything about Nikola Tesla, and I have to find out for myself. I had to do the work, and it took me 3 years to be able to learn, because their algorithms are very clever, and I had to learn a way to go around their algorithms and then come into the truth about Tesla from behind. It's out there. It exists, but if you try to do it through the front door, they push you further and further and further and further away. So when you come to learn about Tesla, what Tesla told you is that electricity is just fascinating for the moment, and then you have to move on. It's child's play to the big game, and the big game is magnetism. It's everything, and your right hemisphere of your brain is magnetism. The left hemisphere of your brain is electricity, which is a downward causation. These are temporal waves. Temporal waves are temporary waves. So if you look around, you say, and Charlie teaches that you can live forever, and then people can roll their eyes, and that's just so stupid. Everywhere I look, people die. Right, because everywhere you look, people are convinced that they are their left brain. They're convinced that they are electrical waves, that they're born, they live, they get sick, and they die. They're born, they live, they get sick, and they die. And you buy into that, and you will become that. But if you cast your net to the right, if you live out of service to others, if you live a righteous, virtuous lifestyle, that's all you have to do. You don't even have to read any books. Ultimately, everything will be revealed to you if you did nothing else than just be kind. So what I'm going to get up today, and what am I going to do? I'm just going to be kind to everybody else. What you're gifted is magnetism. Magnetism is a scalar wave. A scalar wave is the number 8. It rises, but it returns. It rises, but it returns. It is the above and the below. It is the father and the mother. And we are the middle plane in between. That's the plane of inertia. The plane of inertia is planet Eartha in the middle between the father above and the mother below. And that's your 18. This is why the middle 8, this is why the number 18 is so ubiquitous in all these ancient cultures about our reality, because that's a double torus field. That's the bi-bull, the two bulls, the bull above and the bull below. And it's all about the middle way. Buddha taught the middle way. We are the middle way. We are the children of the father and the mother, and we exist in between the father and the mother. So how do you get to the father who is above? If we're electrical beings and all we do is fall, how do we rise? The mother, she's magnetic. Magnetism rises. It's the only thing that rises. And so it's like, well, then this is complex. No, it's so simple. All you have to do is embrace the mother. So if you invoke care and compassion, just look at all of our beautiful guests today. If you take along with their natural genius, their electrical left brain genius that they possess, and then you just add a healthy dose of care and compassion to it, off you go and up you go. And that's how you rise.
That's how you light.
You light your world through the mother, because
lamp.
she's the pure white virgin mother, and she rises. Do you have oil in your lamp? Does anybody even know what that means anymore? You can't get oil in, you got gas in your car. You can't get oil in your lamp unless the mother rises. That's the Kundalini. Unless you have magnetism within you, right hemisphere of the brain, which is a field, then you will not rise.
And that's becoming the master.
And around and around and around and around you go. And I'll just throw this out there for you, whoever wants to accept it or not. You will go around the wheel until such time that you do this right. And there are people that have been around the wheel 1,000,000 times and they haven't even got a whiff of deja vu. Consider that. Cast your net to the right. You don't need a manual. You don't need a guru. You don't need a yogi. The only thing you need is righteousness within you. Be righteous in every single moment. Do everything that you do in life to help others. And I guarantee you, the truth of all things and everything will be gifted to you. No limits, no cost, no time frame. Everything will be gifted to you. Just become kind, because that's what we are. We're womankind and mankind, which is the balance between the mother rising and the father. And the middle plane, we are the 1 to the 8. 1 + 8 is 9. We are divine. That's what we do. And that's what this is. So when people say this is hopium, bullshit, you don't listen. This is science at a level that you're not comprehending, and is so simple. Get out of your left brain and cross the River Jordan to the right brain. That's what it's about. It's not about Israel. It's about Razel. Razel, raise the L, raise the light within you. And the mother is the only way you can do that, because she is a scalar wave.
That was great. So just before we end today, anyone, Mark, Jason, do you want to add to that? This is just going off the chart. I'm just trying to keep up with everybody's posts, but everyone's sending a lot of love to all of us. Some people are saying they want to dance. And that was it, just raising the vibration. Jason, before we go, anything you want to say to us, the audience? Mark?
I can't follow that.
I know. I just was like,
All I can say is Charlie just blew my mind just now, and there's a lot more that's going to be coming out.
yeah.
I definitely going to keep in touch with him because
Good.
there's some definitely.
Yeah.
I
And
love
I
you
love that.
I can't thank you enough. I mean, wow.
Yeah. Jason knows the technologies that exist are all magnetic based. Sorry, but they are. Where did that Harrier jet go to? That was all cool for a while, and then it just kind of disappeared. The Harrier. That was just levitating. How do you levitate? Well, I don't know. I don't know.
Ask a bumblebee.
Right?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
That's so true.
Oh.
All right, everyone. Well, look, what an amazing 2 hours. You know, just I think everyone will feel uplifted and you know, back centered in their resolve, in their mission, in their purpose, whatever you're doing out there, be it on the social media, within your group of people, staying centered, staying in high vibration, and most of all, you're going to enjoy the show, and you have absolute faith that the best is yet to come. Everyone, I say my humble thanks to you all. Thank you so much. And yeah, bring on the next few days. Bye, everyone. Good night.
Bye.
Love you guys. Such an honor. Such an honor,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Thank
Oh, thank you both so much. Thank all of you. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to be ending this now. Lots of love, everyone.